guys, it's Eliza reporting for Koaster Kids from Cedar Point. Haunt is opening this weekend, and so I've never really been to Halloweekends or Haunt. I've never done a haunted house before, so we're gonna spend the day probably doing some haunted houses. Yeah. Something that Cedar Point does during Halloweekends is that they take their existing rides and they re-theme them to Halloween-themed stuff. So this is usually Ocean Motion, but they've renamed it to Ocean Potion for the Halloweekends, and they've dyed the water green to just go with the whole haunt thing. So we're currently going to the junior haunted houses because the normal ones aren't open yet, and in this one, Zombie High, they've covered up all the scary things with masks. Oh, this way. There it is. It's over.
5 times more intense than last year's show.
Okay, so we're about to see Midnight Syndicate in the Jack Aldrich Theater. I've never been in here before. Apparently it's 5 times more intense than last year's. I wasn't at last year's, but they're warning that if you have people that get scared easily, they should not see this show because it's very intense, so I'm pretty excited for that. Okay, so I just saw Midnight Syndicate and I really liked it. It was a lot more intense than I was expecting, a lot scarier than I was expecting, and also it had a good storyline, which I liked. So we have a few of the cast members here, and what do you like about doing the show?
Bringing in a lot of different elements, I think. You know, not only the music, but also the film and the acting and everything. It's kind of like a very immersive experience. That's what we're trying for, to bring everybody in and keep them there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that hit on the head. And you know, we've been playing, making these music CDs for a long time, so to be able to play some of the songs that we've written over the last 20 years live is pretty gratifying. And it's neat to be here at Cedar Point. This is a great, Halloweekends is a great event. And just walking through the park and seeing what they do with it.
Can't beat the working atmosphere, that's for sure.
Cannot, no.
And I would totally agree. It was definitely an immersive experience, and I was never bored throughout the show. I was always interested in what was going on. So even though it's a show, I would probably rate it 4.5 screens.
Awesome.
Okay, so I'm here with 2 more of the cast members. So tell us about your characters and what's special about Midnight Syndicate.
Well, I'm sort of an enchantress character. A little bit evil, a little bit dark, I'm sort of summoning the spirits to come out of the darkness and into the light.
I play the hero. I really enjoy the gothic horror element of it. I also really enjoyed filming elements of it as well as having live performance. It was a really nice blend, getting to kind of dip my hand in a lot of different pots, so that was fun.
Yeah, and also something I didn't mention is that it's cool because it's set like inside. It's like set in Cedar Point, and there's one point where you're like it shows the cameras from outside, and he's like banging on the door, and then a little bit later he comes through. So it's all sort of like real time, and it's all happening in Cedar Point, which I think is really cool. This is more ridery theming from Blue Streak to Boo Streak.
Ooh, sounds like fun. How'd this song go?
So we're about to do the train, and usually they always have Boneville, which is skeleton themed, but I'm interested to see if they have added any Halloween theming for Halloweekends. So let's go. Our train ride is ending. They didn't really do anything for Halloween, but Boneville was still cool. So we did a full circuit. We did the first half, which doesn't have really any Boneville stuff. Rougarou. And then we did the second half, which has all the Boneville stuff. Yeah. We're about to get on Erie Estates. This is our first real haunted house of the day, so I'm pretty excited. Like I said, I've never been in a haunted house before, so I don't really know if I like it, but let's go. First haunted house of the day, let's see how it goes. Okay, so we just got out of Erie Estates, and I really liked that. I thought it was pretty scary. It could have been a lot scarier. My mom was going first, so I knew if something was coming, but sometimes the people in there didn't do the first person, they did the second or the third. So I think it worked well. It was pretty spooky, and I would give it a 4 screams. It was good. That's the rollback.
I see a red door and I want to paint it black.
So we're about to get on Fairground Freak Show, second haunted house of the day. This one is fairly new, but let's go.
Hello, Coaster kids. We're having such a fun time. We're glad you could join us.
You're gonna be in our video.
You're gonna be in my video.
We just got out of Fairground Freak Show, and I thought it was okay. It was creepy, but it wasn't that scary. There weren't many jump scares. It wasn't as good as Eerie Estates. I would rate it probably 2 screams.
Come to Cedar Point and see Fairground Freak Show, the freakiest and scariest haunted house you've ever been in.
What are you looking at? Beat it. Don't make me get out. It wouldn't be pretty. Shoot. Shoot. Oh, I don't want to clean up the mess. I'll have you home for dinner. Because you're really good to eat. Ha 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 ha.
Oh my god! Okay, we're about to go into our next haunted house, Slaughterhouse. Let's go. We just got off of Slaughterhouse, and I liked that a lot. It was really heavily themed, and it was pretty scary, a few good jump scares, so I would give that a 3.5 screams. Not my favorite. We just got off of Deprivation, and that was a very different haunted house. Basically, it's pitch black, and you can't see, and you have to make your way around in there. So it's not really, there aren't many jump scares. It's more scary because it's sensory deprivation. And it was very uncomfortable. I didn't like it at first. There are 3 different zones, and I went through my first zone. I hit my head. I did not like it, but I decided to do the second zone. And I still it's very uncomfortable, but I liked it. It's definitely scary, so I would give it a 5+ screams. Probably my favorite so far.
So, I'd like you to place your hands on the deck, like so. Now, close your eyes, breathe in, and breathe out. Place your energy within the cards, and whenever you feel, release. I'd like for you to run your hand along the deck, back and forth, and pick out 3 cards that speak to you, but make sure to keep them face down.
Okay. Oh gosh, I guess this one speaks to me because it wants to move. This guy right here. Okay.
Alright, so let's see what you picked. Okay. Make music, quiet time, and moving forward fearlessly. Okay. So, suppressed or weighed down, so that's why you chose the moving forward fearlessly. It is saying that when you face this problem head on, you can begin to rise above. And that also ties in with making music, because once you figure out what this is, you start to see the beauty in what your life is. You start to have more light, positivity, and you start to feel more open, lighthearted, and free. And for that to happen, you also need that quiet time, because as humans, we sometimes go in many directions and we need focus. So the cards are telling you you need that focus and that quiet time to see what this is. So, my friend, that is what the cards have for you.
Thank you very much. I just got a rollback. Number one thing on my coaster bucket list was that. I can't believe it. I'm gonna cry.
Attention riders on the green and gold train.
So, I just got a rollback on Untitled Chapter, and we got it on camera. 5+ screams. I'm speechless. Just got a rollback on Untitled Chapter. So we just got out of Hexed, and I thought, it was pretty lame. I did it earlier with just like the junior version where it was Hexed Spellbound, and I actually enjoyed that more than I enjoyed this. It wasn't that scary. I would give it a 2 screams, I'd say. So we're about to go on Zombie High School, and we went on this earlier as the junior version, and the theming was really great. I think it has great potential to be really scary. So I'm pretty sure this is probably the one that I'm most excited for, because when we went through before, it was really good. So let's go. So we just got off of Zombie High School, and I liked it. I thought the theming was impressive. There were some decent jump scares. It was pretty good. It was more scary in the theming and what was around you than the people or the jump scares. So I would probably give that a 3.75. I really enjoyed it. Not that thrilling, but definitely fun. Okay, so we're wrapping up our day here at Cedar Point, opening weekend for Halloweekends. It was a really good day. We got a rollback on Untitled Chapter. I really liked Deprivation, and I also liked Eerie Estates, I think it was called. Yes. And we went on a Sunday, which had shorter hours, and also the Scare Zones and Cornstalkers wasn't open, but overall it was still a really good day. I liked pretty much all the haunted houses that we went in, I think. And this was my first time at Halloweekends, and I really enjoyed it. So this has been Eliza reporting for Coaster Kids from Cedar Point, and remember to be brave and ride on.